Greetings, beautiful mamas. Today I want to talk with you about the stages that you may go through as you embark on the courage to take action, to take guided action. And this can be sometimes a very vulnerable and scary process that I know way too well, I've gone through, I would say, like a 9 or 10 year journey of feeling like I was really going down into the depths of darkness. Even as I was becoming a mom, there was this simultaneous experience of feeling a loss of passion and identity and purpose beyond motherhood. So I'm Althea, your Feng Shui coach and expert, and I want to talk about this a little bit from a Feng Shui perspective and how you can use Feng Shui to help you wherever you are on this journey of taking guided action. I know it's not easy, and I can remember, early on hearing other people who maybe reached the other side and had already taken action, and they were talking about their passions and hoping to inspire other people to take action. And there was a huge part of me that just completely wanted to shut down and turn that shit off, right? Like, that is not where I am, because I think the idea of it was scary, because that meant that something would have to change, and change feels unfamiliar, and change feels scary at times. So the courage to act comes at the time when you're truly ready to listen, right? So I would say, the first stage is actually sometimes being numb and feeling resistance to change anything. And I know, because I was there for a very long time, kind of in my addiction to Netflix, to numbing out that way, to shopping on Amazon as a way of experiencing instant gratification. And that's that's just where I was. And so I would say that if you're in that place, one place to start is to look at, or to work with, the self-cultivation area of your home or your bedroom, and really to practice self-love and self-acceptance, because nothing will happen when you feel you're in a state of guilt, for not taking action. It really does require self-love for where you are, in your state of resistance, and to give space for that, allow that to be there. Because if you approach it from a place of judgment, then you just start to feel worse about yourself anyway, right? So one way to do this is to work with the self-love, self-cultivation area of your home, which is in the farthest bottom left corner from your entryway to your bedroom. Let's say your bedroom is a great place to start, right? And so there, I would just say to write a list of what you appreciate about yourself right now, and what are some of the things that you do on a daily basis that you recognize as your strengths. Because when you're in that state of numbness, you need those reminders of your goodness. And you're a mom. If you're listening to me and relating to me, and you're on this path of motherhood, then you're already doing so much for your children in your life, even in this state of numbness and maybe disconnectedness from, from another calling, maybe a deeper calling that maybe you feel is there on some level, but you just recognize that you're not quite there yet, and that's okay. So that's, I think, step one. And write a list of 9 qualities that you admire about yourself, um, and put it on a red piece of paper. Red, it represents fire. You're working with the earth gua, and when you write something with red, red is fire. Fire activates earth, and you're activating that self-love, that self-knowledge, that self-cultivation, and that inner voice, right? So maybe you can start to appreciate where you are now, as well as start just little by little asking, what it is that you truly want. What is it that you desire? Try remembering a time in your life when you truly felt lit up. You truly felt that joy. You felt that sense of accomplishment, and let yourself sit with that feeling and really feel it in your body. I would say even put it into movement. Allow yourself to close your eyes and put your hands on your heart, right? Open up your heart and feel that moment. Maybe it was a time when you were a kid and you learned how to ride a bike for the first time, or maybe you learned how to swim. I remember that feeling of like going out into the ocean and like swimming so far out, and my dad being so worried, but still I felt so courageous at that time. And maybe it's something, like something as simple as that, or something that you truly love to do, that you're also really good at, that you might do even if you weren't paid to do it. So I'd say that action is like working with the heart, opening up your heart, and that is also working with the fire energy. And you could bring a candle or a light of some sort. It could be like those I forget what they're called, but those little tea lights, lights that you can like hang around the edges of your room. And that could be a way of lighting up this self-cultivation area that really does need attention when you're in that state of numbness, right? And when you start to feel yourself connecting to what it is that lights you up, I would say you're moving to a new phase of really giving yourself permission to make that thing that brings you joy bigger, right? So now you're really going to start to take action and allow yourself to do a little bit more of whatever that is on a daily basis. Like maybe it's dancing, maybe maybe you give yourself permission to drop everything and dance with your kids when they come home from school. And maybe that's a subtle way of bringing more of that that spark into your life. And then maybe as you start to open your heart, you can get in deeper alignment with what it is that you feel called to do in your life, right? So you're activating that fire energy, you're activating that earth energy. And I'd say that when you become more connected to that which you love, and you remember, like, it's a remembrance, right? So you're remembering what you might be called here to do that you just somehow forgot, you know? And you're thinking about, like, what would I do if I could get paid to, what would I just continue to do in my life that I do really well, that I love, that I would do regardless of whether or not I get paid? And then ask yourself, is there a way for me to get paid to do something that I love? Because we have this idea that work has to be work. But there was a time where we didn't work for money, right? We worked for our life purpose. We worked because we felt called to do something for our community, and it didn't have to require money, because money is connected to resources, right? And maybe there's a way to bridge the two. Maybe there's a way to find the work that you're called to do that also brings in the resources, that we still rely on at this day in time, this time in our lives, right? We still rely on money for resources. So I think when you get to that point where you're able to connect your passion, it's gonna drive you to make uncomfortable actions, to take uncomfortable actions, to take guided action. Because when you're connected to that passion, then you're able to continue to move forward, even in the face of the doubts that will inevitably come your way. It could be, maybe from the doubts that you're hearing from other people. And those are going to be gifts to you, because you don't necessarily have to agree with somebody else's doubt, somebody else's limiting belief, but it can be an opportunity for you to examine that belief and ask yourself, is this a belief that you have? If you get that twinge of discomfort, then you get to look at that, and then you get to decide how you're going to move forward in the face of that doubt. And maybe that's going to give you the opportunity to work through it and let it go. And when you want to work with the energy of taking action and starting something new, then you can work with the new beginnings area of your home. And so that's going to be in the middle, on the middle left kind of wall from your entryway. So it's not the center, it's like kind of the center on the left side. And you can bring in the energy of wood. So you can bring in plants, you can bring in teals and blues and images of growth, or images of inspiration, right? If you're inspired by movement, you can bring in an image of movement, something that represents movement to you, or something that represents your passion, in your connected passion, right? So this is kind of, what I consider a way of working through the stages of making this decision to take action. And wherever you are in this journey, it's okay. It's okay to be where you are. You can only be where you are, and then just trust that when it's time to act, you will do so. And I would also encourage you to, when you're looking for the courage to take consistent action, you can also work with citrine crystals, and you can carry them with you. You can place them in your self cultivation area, and you can meditate with them. Like, you can hold them as you're sitting with yourself, and you're visualizing what it is that you want. So that will give you that grounded earth chi, as well as the courage to continue moving forward on this path. So I'd love to hear from you, where you are in this journey of having the courage to take action. I want to know if you feel numb. I